Welcome to the Lummy Sports Show, or as Bubba calls it, the Lummy fucking Sports Show, starring Rhett. Good morning, Rhett.
Good morning, Lummy.
Good afternoon, good evening.
Glad I made it on time this week. I feel good about that.
Yes, and the little wiener dog is here, so
She is also here, yeah.
she has made a better in-row appearance, better than Brian ever did when he was on the sports show.
Certainly more consistent. No days off for her. She's been here every sports show.
Oh, and there goes the mic.
Oh, why are you getting violent?
Boom goes the microphone. I was just trying to keep it right there. There we go. Rhett and I were talking before the show got going on, which you can give us a call in, 813-90-BUBBA, 813-90-BUBBA. Yes, and please hit the like button. And also Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo, which will keep the Bubba the Love Sponge show going and keeping this show on the air.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about baseball and what is going on. Looks like there's news. I mean, obviously, Anatani with his record deal worth $700 million in 10 years, and how absolutely the Dodgers made that a sweetheart deal for their next 10 years?
I thought it was 20.
For 2 years?
20, what is it, 2034?
Yeah.
Because the structure of that contract was 10 years,
Well,
10 years, $700 million.
2034 is 10 years.
Yeah. So first we get that news. Everybody's freaking out about how much he's going to be getting paid, making, thousands of dollars an hour, $70 million a year. And then a little bit more time goes by and we find out that he has, what's the word for it?
He is deferred
$680 million of that deal until his contract is up in 2034. So a couple of reasons for that. First and foremost, I just have to think that's a giant middle finger to the state of California, because if there's one thing he's not going to get fucked on as far as taxes goes, it's going to be the biggest contract in baseball history.
It's
as soon as he retires and goes to Japan, that's when he can pull that money out and not have to worry about it.
Exactly, and it's very smart on his part that the highest paid player technically was able to outsmart the government in California, and then also baseball. I mean, you don't see a lot of those contracts like that. I mean, obviously you had the Bobby Bonillas and the Ken Griffey's and all there that they deferred it till 20 years down the road.
Now, because of the way that he deferred it, it's not until after, the active playing period is over. So people drawing comparisons to Bobby Bonilla, is he going to get interest on that money like Bonilla did? Because that's why Bonilla got paid for so long, and he still got, I think, 7 more years.
Yeah, I didn't see anything about the interest payments. I would have to say they probably took a benefit and just said, hey, because do you think it was his idea or you think it was the Dodgers' idea?
Probably a little bit of both. I'm sure somebody told him, like, listen, we're going to pay you this money, but if you're okay with doing this with it, then we can build a better team around you than the Angels ever did.
Exactly.
And it seems like that's obviously what their approach is, because we were talking a lot before the show, too. And one of the biggest reasons we're opening the show with baseball, which is very rare, especially in the middle of football season, is because it is now affecting our beloved Tampa Bay Rays.
Which we knew. We knew that we'd probably lose Glass now.
Yeah, you knew that you were going to be losing these players, but to lose them all to potentially the Dodgers is really going to suck.
Especially that I believe, is it the president of baseball operations used to be here? Isn't it Andrew Friedman?
I didn't know that.
I believe it is still Friedman. If I'm not mistaken, he left here and went right out. He went. It was either Friedman or Matt Silverman, but I think it was Friedman. Let's see, Friedman, Dodgers. Yep, there it is. So he was very integral in building the Rays back in 2008, 2009. I guess 2007. He was the executive of the year in 2008. And he has been with the Dodgers since 2015. I believe he is the president of baseball operations. So obviously he wants a World Series victory in Los Angeles. And I believe he is going to be bringing some former players from the Rays in. And it would be a nice trade Which you said that they were putting together what the trade would be, correct?
Yes. So they were finishing the framework of what that trade would be. And obviously the speculation at an all-time high. You brought up the Randy Arozarena Instagram post where he's dapping up Ohtani.
Yep.
And he removed the Rays from a lot of his social media information, his bios and things like that. He took out all references of Tampa. And then Glasnow has been another guy who's been heavily attached to the trade rumors. But let me see if I can pull up the official tweet here. That way you can get the details from someone a little bit smarter than myself.
Or the 247 Rays. That's where I first saw it. And J.P. Peterson also, I saw he had a tweet out there when I was between the shows looking at it. And obviously when Randy Arozarena
So
takes it down.
This is from Ken Rosenthal, who is a senior writer for the MLB over at The Athletic. He's also an on-field reporter for Fox. Said the Dodgers are discussing a trade in which they would get RHP Tyler Glasnow and outfielder Manuel Margot from the Rays for RHP Ryan Pepio and outfielder Johnny DeLuca. Deal not complete, changes possible, financial exchange likely.
Wonder how much financial exchange there will be.
I wanted to talk about just from the perspective of like the Rays fans who you're going to see it all week long with some of these players getting shipped off. The same bitching and moaning that you get every 3-4 years. How come the Rays can't ever keep their prospect? How can't ever have a franchise guy? How are you going to bring in new fans to this fan base? And you know what I say to that, Lummy?
Buy some fucking tickets. That's what I say.
No, just get the fuck over it and stop watching baseball, because that's why I stopped watching baseball 8-9 years ago, because the Rays did it to me.
Yeah, but this is my thinking is, look, I'm a fan of the Rays. I was a big fan of the Rays, especially when I worked for them, and especially when they first came up and they sucked. I mean, I was a Rays fan pretty much from '98 on. I left the Cubs and came over to the Rays. And look, yeah, they ship them out. It goes here and there, but they have a form. It's you could call it the Rays way.
Yeah, it's always been the Rays way.
It's not like when the Royals have done it or the Orioles have done it. They suck for 5 years while they're building this process up. And then they get there, and then sometimes they get to the World Series, they win like the Royals did, or like the Orioles where they just haven't made it, and then they just ship them all off again, and then they restart the process, and then 5 years goes by, and they keep going. The Rays are always still tinkering. I mean, we haven't had a losing record, I think in the last 10 years, 2-3 times maybe?
Yeah,
and I'd rather have that than shit in the bed like the Pirates. I mean, look at the Pirates.
Yeah, the Rays are the best example of a team who can effectively move talent, transition guys into new roles and still have moderate success. I mean, it's not like they've had any legendary postseason runs, especially since 2020. Like, they haven't made it that far since, but they could be a lot worse. And I just feel like a lot of the people who have watched this team for a long time, kind of like what I said with Florida State, I don't know why we're all surprised. I don't know why we act like we are just blindsided when these things happen. Because if the Rays have a reputation for anything around this town, it's getting rid of all the likable players.
Yeah, it's getting rid of when they're at their peak. Look, I would rather, as a baseball fan, as a sports fan, instead of winning one World Series, like, let's say we won the World Series in 2008 because she loves you. Because in 2008 or 2009, and we just sold out and we won the World Series, and then we sucked for the next 10 years, and just were a laughing stock of MLB. Fuck that. I'd rather just be good, and then have one of those years where we just didn't sell out our whole entire minor league system and all that other shit, and we keep staying in that contention every fucking year. I'd rather have that than us selling out, and then, we have nothing in the minor league system, and now we're the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, and I'd say that even, when we bring up recent success, we could get as recent as this past season. Someone brought it up in chat, Thuggish Ruggish, but, injuries really took that team down in the second half of the season.
Oh, sure did.
They had the hottest start in the history of professional baseball, and they were a heavy World Series favorite all year long.
Pitching killed it. Pitching killed us.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of what opinions you have of how the Rays have managed their team, because, again, I have opinions about it. I don't like it, and it's why I'm not as big of a baseball fan as I was when I was younger, because I used to love the Rays, man. Love going to Rays games. But when I was a kid, and I was a lot more emotionally attached to what players were on the team. It was a lot harder for me to swallow it, when guys were leaving left and right. So,
well, listen,
I think they've been good. This year they were good. This year they could have been a World Series team if injuries had just not fallen, that and the Franco stuff, which
maybe,
you can't foresee that.
Maybe this is where you and I are different. See, I grew up before the Rays got here a Cubs fan. Okay? Loved the Cubs. Loved, they were, I could even tell you probably, most of the times they were good. 84, 89, and 94 they made the wild card with Jim Riggleman, and then 98. No, 94 was not Jim Riggleman. Sorry, 95. 98 was. So we had our key players, though. We kept the key players.
Yeah.
Ryan Sandberg. We got rid of Greg Maddux, but still, you had those players. Rick Sucklovich. You had all these big name players, and they kept on. Shawan Dunston, Jerome Walton, Dwight Smith. They kept these guys on that you knew. And it was like, okay, yeah, we got good name guys, man. We're keeping them. And guess what? Never got over the fucking hump. Yeah, Mark Grace played fucking there forever. He was my favorite first baseman. And guess what? You know what, Rhett? We had those names, and they came back every fucking year. And guess what? As a kid growing up, I'm like, all right, the Cubs are going to be good this year. The Cubs are going to be good. Oh, we got this guy in. Oh, we went out and got fucking Glenn Allen Hill. He's going to help Sammy Sosa. And guess what? They still fucking sucked. Andre Dawson, yeah, he was on the peak of his career when he got here. But you know what I'm saying is that, guess what? I watched a losing team, but we always kept the players. And then with how the Rays are, I'd rather go to a winning baseball game and not see Evan Longoria out there batting .225, hitting 18 home runs, and he's been here for 13 years.
Hasn't won a damn thing.
We haven't won a goddamn thing, and everyone's saying, man, I wish Evan Longoria would have wish the Rays would have gotten rid of Evan Longoria and given him that championship he deserved. Or, hey, unfortunately we lost it, but hey, little Walker, guess what? Our baseball team's in first place. Guess what? You have a favorite player this year. Well, let's go to the game, let's watch it, and you pick out a guy. Yeah, maybe he's not here. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? I'd rather watch a winning baseball team than watching fucking players sit there, especially now. And, half the time, they don't play 162 games anymore. It's not Cal Ripken out there. So it's like, fuck it.
Good question from Haas. Would you rather have a consistent team for years or one World Series?
Exactly. I'd rather have a consistent team for years.
You would really?
Yeah.
See,
who gives a fuck about the World Series? Look, when the Bucks.
Oh, don't say that.
Hold on.
Don't say. Is it a different conversation when you're having that when you're debating that topic in baseball compared to football? Because I would be on the other end of the spectrum if we're talking about football. Like if we're talking about one Super Bowl win and then 9 shitty seasons, I would much rather have that than 10 straight seasons of being really close.
Yeah, and a good point here, and that's another one too, because they did it against my Cubbies in 2003. The Marlins always fucking sold out, won one World Series, sold I think in 2003 or one of them they tried to make a run on it, and then they all got injured. But they're right there, and no one's fucking no one goes to the Marlins games. Yeah, they got what, 2 World Series, and shit since then. You know what I mean? I'd rather be consistently good and then maybe you get one out of it and you didn't sell everything and even when you win that, just like the Chiefs. I mean, look at football. The consistent teams are always up there. They never really have a down year, unless you're like the Rams did, the Bucks. The Bucks did, where they sell out for a Super Bowl. I mean, 2002 doesn't really.
Yeah,
count, in my opinion,
you've seen different teams handle it different ways. For example, the Bucks won the Super Bowl. Some would argue they sold their soul for that Super Bowl, but the next season they won 13 games and lost in the divisional round to the Super Bowl champions. The Rams won Super Bowl 56 and they fucking sucked the year after.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The Bucks. That's why I said even in the first Super Bowl that the Bucks had. You know what I mean? The Bucks consistently built up that first Super Bowl with keeping the big names around and keeping that so they can. And they even tried to do a second run. They didn't. It wasn't a pump and dump. Let's bring them in and then dump them right when we get it because we can't afford them and we're going to trade value. We're going to pretend the fans are going to come for it. So I mean, they're like the Rays are going to be fine. you're not freaking out if Glasnow is gone and Randy's gone.
I think something that not a lot of people are talking about with this trade as well is once it's finalized, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to be able to shed, what's his name? Manuel. They're going to get rid of his contract.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he's getting probably overpaid.
Well, and Glasnow's I think he's due for 15, 20 million.
Well, I mean, I understand he's a talented player. I understand he's a likable guy. The fan base has embraced him, but has he not been fucking hurt every year for the last 3 years?
Yeah.
Has he not missed an extended amount of the season every year?
And wouldn't you want to take that money and at least try to do something with...
Especially while he's still worth something, because if he goes to the Dodgers and they trade for him and he gets fucking hurt...
Like Carl Crawford?
Who's going to have their feelings hurt about it? Not Rays fans.
No, and everyone...
Everyone's going to change their tune and be like, oh, we're can't believe we finally got rid of that guy. We really dodged a bullet.
Like Kersmeyer?
People are just fickle.
Well, but it's like Carl Crawford. When he left... He had a shit career after the Rays, and everyone was kind of mad about it. But it means, like, okay, we moved on from it. But wouldn't you rather take the Glasnow money that's projected to be $25 million to keep what's his name, Shane McClanahan? I know he's been injured, but
that's our boy.
I'd rather give him a little bit more money.
Yeah, USF legend.
That's right. The 641.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Brandon McLeod.
Hey, Brandon, you got some big baseball takes up in Iowa?
No, but I was just talking about mediocre seasons. Did you guys hear that Mike Tomlin might be out as the coach of the Steelers finally?
I haven't heard anything about Tomlin. I've heard a lot of back and forth, but I've heard about Belichick and the Patriots, which we were going to talk about here in a few minutes.
Because, that's another team that just likes mediocre because they like having a coach for like 20 years instead of winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but at least Tomlin won one or two. Well, how many did he win?
He did have two.
He only won one.
Oh, yeah, he did. He made that first one, but they lost to Who did they lose to? Was it Seattle?
Seattle. No, 2005.
Yeah, I think it was Seattle.
2007 was when he got hired on.
It was Ben's rookie year. They made it all the way.
They won that one, and
no, they lost the one Ben's rookie year. They won. Oh no, shit! No, they lost the one to the Packers. So then maybe it was his second. Maybe it was his second season. I think his rookie season they made it to the AFC Championship, and then the next year
they beat the Cardinals. 717 JLR 1999 Super Chats here. I'll just scroll down here. Second year 2007 he lost to the AFC wild card to the Jaguars. 2008 he won the Super Bowl. He lost to the Packers in 2010. So, and he has not been. He lost to the AFC Championship game in 2016 to the Patriots. So most of them have been divisional games or wild card games. But guess what? They still make the playoffs, and he's going 8-8.
Yeah, that 2016 team was like their last shot, really, at making the postseason. Because at that point, they still had Le'Veon Bell in his prime. They still had Antonio Brown. Ben was still able to sling it. He wasn't a fucking fossil back there. So like 2016-17 is really when I think they ran out of steam. Because they've only made it to the wild card twice since then in 6 years.
Yeah.
Not a great look.
Yeah, 2020 was their last best year, 12-4.
But so I think it's gonna. But who do you think they're gonna get?
I mean, I think they're gonna bring up another coordinator. I think something like them's gonna bring a coordinator in.
You don't think they retain Tomlin? Are people convinced that he's just gone?
I mean, if he's fired, I think they bring in a coordinator.
Yeah.
I think they bring him back.
I don't think he's gonna stay.
You don't think he's gonna stay?
No, I think because they're already talking about letting him. Because it just came out like last week that this is most likely his last season. They're gonna move on.
Well, 20 hours ago, according to the Washington Post, think whatever you want about them. It says Mike Tomlin's job as the Steelers head coach is secure.
See, that's the thing too, is that like I'm not a big Steelers fan. I don't watch the games every week. I haven't seen every game under Mike Tomlin, but from the outside looking in, You've got a coach who really hasn't had shit for a quarterback for the last 5 years because the last 2-3 years of Ben's career, he fucking sucked. He was holding that offense back.
Yeah, because his elbow was blowing out.
And then you get Kenny Pickett, who fucking sucks. I mean, Mitch Trubisky proved to me the other night he might be an actual R because I just don't understand what that guy's malfunction is. But, I mean, really, he has not had any type of consistency or star power on the offensive side of the ball in a long time. But some way, somehow, that Steelers team finishes with a positive record every year. And I know people are tired of everyone saying the same thing, like, oh, well, he finishes with a positive record, but we still don't win shit. But, like, look at what you're equipped with. Look what you're giving the guy to work with. They didn't fire Matt Canada till like week 10.
Yeah, that's true.
Should have fired that guy last fucking year when we knew that offense sucked, but they didn't. If they move on from Tomlin or if they give him a chance to go out and look for another offensive coordinator, a name that I really like, and I like this name for the Bucs too. Lummy, you're familiar with him, former offensive coordinator for the Georgia Bulldogs and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Todd Monken, who is currently the OC with Baltimore. And you see the year that Lamar Jackson's having, especially throwing the football. They need an offensive guy, whether it's as a coordinator or a head coach. I don't think they move on from Tomlin, but goddamn, like give the guy an actual roster and see how far they can get.
You know who would be good?
Give him some weapons on the outside.
You know who'd be? Obviously, the Steelers aren't usually a big splash, free agency wise. But if they hired or they brought someone on, even for now, a Kirk Cousins. Get him a good offensive coordinator, bring him some weapons, and give Kirk Cousins. I mean, because the Steelers always have a good defense. And I believe, what are they this year in the rankings for their defense?
I think they're a top 10 unit. I think their
like
secondaries.
They're like in the top 6, I think.
Yeah.
I think their secondary is getting picked on lately. But, I mean, when you've got the lead sacker in the NFL, it's going to make your defense that much better.
You're just wasting his career right now by not giving him an offense. I mean,
yeah, the guy's got to go out there and win games by himself.
Yeah, I mean, Steelers remind me, and they have the same exact fucking colors as the Iowa Hawkeyes.
couple of big time offenses.
I mean, come on, Brandon, it's true. Fuck, I'm sorry, Pittsburgh hasn't. I'm sorry they haven't drafted a quarterback from Iowa yet. And you're shit.
That's because we don't have any.
Well, I know, but still, they should pick him up for their practice squad. I mean, fuck. Actually, anybody playing the Steelers should just get one for their practice squad. I mean, it's playing well.
But don't forget to make your first college bowl bet at the Hard Rock on Iowa to beat Tennessee.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna put. I'll put the fucking under on that one.
But no, Iowa's actually an 8-point underdog in that game.
Of course, and probably the spread is about 24. Where the fuck is when is the Bulls game start? Don't they start?
It starts on Saturday. They start on Saturday.
Perfect. I need to put that bowl. All right, Brandon. Sorry, buddy. I can hear myself and I hate my voice.
All right, guys. You guys are having a good show.
Thanks.
Watch myself.
I need to do one of those bowl pick'ems.
Well, just for all the games, like we did that last year.
Yeah, I know.
We didn't win shit.
No shit, but I need to put that up and maybe tweet it out and see what you ever think. Don't type on my fucking YouTube over there. I'm like,
I'm not typing on anything. What are you talking about?
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
No, seriously, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I see you in YouTube chat. I'm looking. I'm like,
doing what?
I'm like, when the fuck did I just say you overthink too much?
Oh well, our resident Ravens fan is chiming in. He's saying, I don't know why you're talking about the Ravens offense when you said the Ravens weren't good. He likes to put words in our mouth.
I know. Yeah, of course he does. No, I'm gonna start one of those, probably one of the Yahoos or ESPNs, and we can do a college bowl pick'em, and I'll tweet it out. So if you're listening, you want to do a Bubba Army League on that, I like doing those. I mean, I was gonna do a bowl pick'em, but it's just so long.
Yeah, it literally takes like 10 minutes to fill the whole thing out.
We got our NFL picks, and
it really sucks picking half of those games. Like I don't feel great about picking any games at all, or even betting games for bowl weekend, just because like they don't count. Half those teams don't even show up to play.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing is like, so what my betting philosophy is, now this is just my betting philosophy, and it has turned out well for some of these really shitty games, is when you get a team that is in a lower division let's hypothetically say Marshall, but not a UTSA, but a Marshall, and then let's say they play against someone that's in the ACC, let's say Clemson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Clemson normally doesn't show up. Marshall fucking plays their balls out, and usually Marshall's like a 28-point underdog, and they lose by 10. They got that feel good kind of feeling.
Sure.
So a lot of all those guys are gonna play.
Yeah, I mean Tulane had a big bowl win last year. Didn't they beat
USC? I think.
Yeah, like it was.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
you didn't expect it. So I guess I have to beg the question here. You are maybe not a Florida State fan, more than a sympathizer.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I know where you're going with this one.
You know exactly where I'm going with this.
Yes.
Are you going to play dumb like the rest of the Florida State fan base and just stick your head in the sand and be one of those people who's like, oh, this bowl game against Georgia doesn't matter because nobody's going to play anyway, so it's not going to prove any kind of point whatsoever?
No, I mean, Georgia's probably not going to play either, so.
Right, so if Florida State beats Georgia, am I going to have to listen to FSU fans that are like, see, the playoff committee fucked us over because we beat Georgia?
No.
But when they lose to fucking Georgia, am I going to have to hear, oh, this game didn't matter. It wouldn't have changed anyone's stance on anything.
You would have to see who plays. Now, if Georgia comes out with their full roster and Florida State comes out their full roster, then yeah. Now, if Georgia comes out and 8 guys are off on offense, 4 guys are off on defense, Florida State goes, the same kind of thing. Okay, who gives a fuck then? All right, well, we just had a practice fight. We had a spring game with Florida State and Georgia.
I would
Whoever
think,
wins, fuck it.
I haven't heard much from the university itself other than the fact that they're still dead set on suing.
The state of Florida is
the
suing.
college. Yeah, I mean, which is going to, perfect, waste more of our taxpayer dollars. I love it.
No, it's only $1 million.
Yeah, sure. With that being said, I would think if you're Florida State with a fucking chip on your shoulder and you're acting as butthurt as you are about this, wouldn't you want to prove to the fucking nation that, hey, we're going to show up ready to play? Even though people don't expect us to be ready to play, we're going to be ready to play. We're going to show up ready to win because that's what we've done all season. I haven't heard any of that shit.
Yes, you would think that. The problem is I feel they think Georgia's not going to show up, so it's still a game of who gives a fuck. And in my opinion, every game should matter. And I think going to a bowl game is a big special time in college players. And I think it would be fun, for Florida State to go in and just completely dismantle Georgia in the Orange Bowl. And you won the bowl.
It'd be memorable.
Yeah.
It would be memorable. It would be for them. A bow on top of a season that obviously nobody's ever going to forget for one reason or another.
Exactly.
But I wish they would focus more on proving how good of a fucking team they are than, just bitching and moaning. I swear to God, I hear more and more every single day about how cheated they were and, oh, God, and this fucking lawsuit now. Just get over it. Get over it. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of hearing it. I'm tired.
You know a game that...
They look so fucking pathetic now.
Well, yeah. And once the bowl games, we're going to keep hearing about it. Yeah, they're going to talk about it probably up until, obviously, the Orange Bowl. And then after that, it will die down. But, one of the games that we were talking about here is Liberty at Oregon. Now, see, that's a game that 100% Liberty is going to show up.
Mm-hmm. They're going to be ready to play.
Oregon is a team that they don't really give a fuck about the game. So there are probably some guys are going to sit out. I mean, who knows? Did Bo Nick's going to play?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, but Liberty wants that. We beat number 8 Oregon, no matter what.
For Liberty, if they go into that bowl game and they win a game that Oregon doesn't give a fuck about, I mean, that's the biggest win in program history. For Liberty, probably.
Oh, 100%. Right? And they're going to use it.
Yeah, they're going to use it as a recruiting tactic. They're going to put up.
They want that Fiesta Bowl ring, the trophy,
they're
everything.
They're going to put up fucking plaques and paintings of that football team all over the athletic center.
Exactly.
It means that much to that program.
Kind of like UCF with their national championship that they claim that they won a couple years ago.
They put it in their stadium.
It's in the stadium. Don't forget, it's on cop cars that go around
God.
I mean that's how much that means to a school like that. And let's see what the point spread is on that real quick, and then we're gonna get to our picks because I think I had a shitty week, but I think my upset didn't win, but I should have picked another team for the upset. Yeah, 14.5 right now. So now actually it's up at 17.5. So a lot of money is going on Oregon.
Do you like the points there?
63.
Well, no, I meant the spread. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I like the spread. I'm gonna probably I'd put money on 17.5, and I'd probably even go on the over. Liberty scores a lot of points. Their defense isn't the greatest, and obviously Oregon can score some points.
Yeah, there's some juice there. It's 115.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, look, yeah, I'm not worried. Liberty puts like an average of 40 points a game on it.
Liberty.
Liberty Flames, as the Liberty Flames with a mascot as their eagle. Yeah, Christian school.
It's like that. What's that big Christian college in Florida who does sports?
Which one?
The Fire. I cannot remember the name of the school.
Florida College?
Is it Florida College or is it like Florida Southeast College?
I think it's Florida Southeast College. You're right.
Because I had.
It's in Lakeland, right?
Yes, I had all of my athletic friends from high school who I also went to church with. They all ended up going there.
You know, at Liberty back in the day, which I don't know if they still do it, but one reason I didn't even entertain Liberty as an athlete in high school is because supposedly, which I think I did look it up one time back in the day, was that they had separate hallways.
$10 super chat from Iggy McGillicuddy. I don't know if you got that.
No, thank you, Iggy.
Or it's a rant actually over on Rumble. Thank you for watching, Iggy. He says, "Put Scout on the other mic."
I only have
She's actually on the couch mic.
Oh, nice.
I don't know. I mean, she probably won't talk if you pot her up. I don't think.
They had separate stairwells for men and women.
At Liberty?
Yeah, and you had I think it was like a 6-inch rule or 6-foot rule. You couldn't be close to chicks. They probably have changed it at this point.
Yeah, they don't
now.
want you looking at ass on the stairs.
Why not?
Because it's a Christian school.
Oh, we got to call them. We're going to our picks. I know what this is. We probably don't even want it. Now, you know what? 239. Save your shit for another day. All right, wrap it up quick. Rhett's got to go see the Quisha at La Quinta. All right, we're on a roll right now. What do you?
La Quinta.
Yeah, the La Quinta. Listen, dick fuck. All right,
Is that like a hotel?
Yeah, it's a hotel.
Yeah.
We know you're big time here. So listen, we don't want to talk about the fucking NBA mid-tournament fucking bullshit. That's the stupidest thing ever.
It's a local high dollar place around here.
Yeah, the fucking LeBron James sitting during the national anthems at USC. Anything with a basketball, unless you're going to talk about USF completely dominating the powerhouse Arkansas Pine Bluff. What's your take on the on whatever the fuck else you want to talk about? And not tennis.
Well, I'm just all this crying about FSU. It seems like the new Trail of Tears needs to go from Tallahassee down to Miami by the Orange Bowl because they're doing more bitching and complaining, and I don't know. It's getting a little ridiculous.
It's getting a little.
What it is. It's a bowl game.
Yeah, getting a little drawn out at this point,
anyway.
right? Like it's
ESPN doesn't want to lose money.
I could acknowledge
they don't want another Georgia TCU.
I could acknowledge that. Listen, at the end of the day, when you are an undefeated Power 5 team, I agree. I think you should have a chance to play for a national championship. But knowing the guidelines, knowing the rules set in place by the College Football Committee, who are the only ones who make this decision every single year, I don't know why we didn't see it coming from a mile away. All the things that are taken into account, player availability, strength of schedule, like you went and won all your games. You did exactly what was asked of you, and that's awesome. And I agree they should have a chance to fight for a national championship. But in the NCAA and the 14 college football playoff, don't fucking work that way. And we knew that. We knew that beforehand. We know it now. It doesn't work that way.
And it's all about the money. It's all about the money, and everyone's they're losing money on some aspects on the television end, and they just can't have another. They just can't have another low-rating blowout game, and that's what it is. And, suck it up, And then also, why are you talking about Liberty and Oregon? Like, who cares?
It's none of your business.
Go, Pack, go! Neil Mount Pusher, 1999. Go, Pack, and they need to win. And why? Because we were talking about betting.
Yeah.
We were talking about betting, and it's College Football Bowl series. And if you look at it, dick fuck, we were talking about how the big name schools, like we're talking about Florida State and Georgia, if you were listening, a lot of their guys don't show up because they don't give a fuck because they're going to the NFL. So you're losing out on a lot of your good players. So if you're a gambler and you like betting, you look for games like that. Liberty's going to come in and fucking want to beat the shit out of Oregon. It's a 17.5 point spread. Oregon may be down a lot of their players. It's an easy pickup on a win because right now Vegas is obviously going off They haven't announced really who's going to play. I'm not sure. Bo Nix next week, his agent can say, no, do not play. The NFL guys don't need you to go out there and hurt yourself. And he's out. The spread would jump way down. I'm sorry. It would jump for Liberty, but you could grab it right now at 17.5.
Well, that's kind of the thing, too, is that with these early windows, a lot of these games are still 2, 3, 4 weeks away.
Yeah.
So even looking ahead at prop bets, if that's something you want to get into, because I like betting props more than I like betting games. But for example, Liberty. Liberty, I bet you the line.
Gamblers?
I bet you the line for the top 3 receivers on Liberty is like right around 50 yards, 40 yards.
Yeah.
And if they're going to come out and play their fucking asses off,
then you're going to be putting that money on it.
Then those are easy bets, especially this early. So that's kind of why we were talking about it, and we were also giving context to the hypothetical discussion of how much is Florida State really going to give a shit about this big game coming up against Georgia? Because if you're Florida State and you've been bitching all year about how you were wronged, then the ultimate way to prove to everybody that you were wronged and you're a better team than people think is by beating Georgia. But we talked about who's going to play, who's going to care about playing, which brought us, down to the discussion of Liberty and Oregon.
And if you didn't fucking suck off tennis players all day long, you would know that. If you actually played a real sport and not watch fucking stupid-ass basketball, then you would realize that's what we were talking about. And you would realize that the players are going to go out there and beat the shit out of them. And when you look down the line, Liberty beating Oregon, and you're going to look and go, oh, fuck, Liberty beat Oregon. Oregon was number 8, 11-2. They were in the national championship talk, and Liberty fucking beat them? Oh, shit. 3 years from now, you're not going to know whether Oregon fucking started whatever, or 5 years from now. But when you walk into Liberty, you see that they won the Fiesta Bowl. And that's proud because they're a small school. So, fuck off. How about that? I'm done with you today.
I mean,
you already pissed me off.
You're very animated today. I like it, Lummy. This is some passion. You're bringing it.
It was a rough morning. It was a rough first hour of the show for everybody today.
Iggy said something funny. Hey, listen, calm down there. All right, calm down. Iggy said something funny in chat. Iggy said, hey, we already talked about that too. Listen to the show. Iggy said something funny. Hey, Iggy said something funny. He said Rhett has never been in a slump for that reason. Rhett never has to go to the slump busters.
I saw someone else say that I take all the slump busters for myself.
Exactly, which is why you're just killing it on YouTube.
Hey, you got to take what you can get, buddy.
Yeah. We already talked about it on Tiny Deal.
Down here in Fort Myers.
Oh, I believe it.
Women down here in Fort Myers that like gingers that live in trailer parks, man. We can come cook you up, man.
I don't know who told you I live in a trailer park, but my complex I do overpay
not that
for.
You do. No, these girls live in trailer parks down here in North Fort Myers.
Gives me a leg up. I like a girl with low standards.
Listen,
that's my type.
Henstar is a redhead, so he knows all about it.
Yeah, buddy.
He's a ginger.
I'm quasi.
Yeah, you're quasi douchebag.
Ginger by proxy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Henstar, we're gonna go. We're gonna go now. Listen, you're drying up Rhett's condom here, okay, buddy? We got to get going. You're killing his boner.
All right,
see you
guys.
He didn't have a lot to say about that Panthers game last week.
Of course, he didn't have anything to say about the Panthers game last year. Listen, that is a pathetic franchise that is playing for not even a number 1 pick. They're literally playing for the Bears to get the number 1 pick. They're pathetic.
Do you want to talk about football and the Bucks for a little bit, or you want to wrap up NCAA? Because I did want to ask you a question about the Bucks. Now
we're wrap up NCAA. Yeah. I'll look for our tweet. I'll put it on mine. I'm sure Bubba wouldn't mind if I reposted it on the main Bubba Army page for our bowl pick'em. We were talking about doing a show next week. Maybe obviously our times are totally different, so we're gonna figure that out. By that time next week, we still have a good amount of games, and maybe we'll talk more about college football next week.
So I wanted to ask you a question about the Bucks and obviously the trajectory they are on. Just won 2 division games back to back, which you love to see. You go from 4-7 to 6-7. Still balls deep in a playoff hunt with the NFC South being as ugly as it is. It's going to get uncomfortable down the stretch, but I think if the Bucks can beat the 1-win Panthers again and hold off New Orleans. I think sweeping New Orleans is going to be tough, but you still have a decent shot to win the division if you win half of those divisions.
Listen, if they should be able to handle the Panthers.
But I want to ask you a question, and this has to do with Todd Bowles and the playoffs and where the Bucs are expected to be in 2024. We actually had a really good conversation on my podcast earlier this week. And I want to know, what do you think is ultimately best for the future of the franchise? And for the sake of this exercise, let's just assume that if the Bucs make the postseason, then Todd Bowles comes back. Because I still think there's a chance that they could make the postseason and Jason Light decides to fire Todd Bowles. I know it's tough to fire a guy after 2 straight postseason appearances, but you would have to really be sticking your head in the sand to pretend that, you have not seen the tendencies that Todd Bowles has as a head coach. I just don't know how you can, back-to-back division wins, blah, 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 which is great, but I don't know how you can justify that given everything else that we've seen. But Lummy.
I don't see them moving on from Todd Bowles.
I kind of don't either. My gut says they make the postseason, and even if they get shellacked in the first round, they decide to keep him, and Baker's probably back for another year.
Baker's back. Obviously, what's his name? Canales is back.
As a Bucs fan, would you rather them make the postseason for another run at mediocrity, or would you rather them lose their chance at the postseason, end up with a top 10 pick, and maybe take a swing at one of these big-time QBs? Because this quarterback draft class coming up, I know they say it every year, but this year more than others, it seems like it's stacked this year. The Bucs could pick at 19 and still walk away with a franchise QB.
No, I would rather make the playoffs. I know my wife disagrees with it because we have to buy playoff tickets then, and she knows we'll get selected, and it could be even on BARP.
That's what's gonna suck, is that if the Bucs win the division, it's a home playoff game. It's gonna be that weekend, and I really hope it's Sunday.
Yeah, but it most likely will be fucking Saturday.
We'll get the early window. It'll be like the day game too, because it's the fucking Bucs.
Which wouldn't be that bad though.
No, but the day of Bark sucks because you and I both know we have a lot of running around to do that day.
Exactly. No, I'd rather them make the playoffs, and it is a very heavy draft this year, and I think that where the Bucs, let's say they do, they're in the top 15 though. I could see them still being able to get a very good quarterback in the draft. I think them in the history of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers investing, and yes, it's a different franchise, but I'm a believer that sometimes teams just have fucking shitty luck. The Packers have the best luck at picking quarterbacks. The Bucs have the worst. The Bucs have never really scored on a top 10 quarterback in the draft.
No.
Can you name one? I mean, I can name a ton. That sucked dick.
I could tell you the quarterbacks.
Craig Erickson.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, too, is that there's a lot of people who have this idea that losing out, getting a better draft position, and getting a quarterback is automatically going to solve all of this franchise's problems. But, even with recency bias, people blow me away. Look at Carolina. Look at the situation they are in.
Mm-hmm.
They had a decent offense before they traded it the fuck away.
Yeah.
To go get Bryce Young, and that's not the situation the Bucs are in. The Bucs could draft a quarterback and still have a decent roster, but there's no guarantee that quarterback's even going to be much better than what you had before.
Exactly.
One, look at the list of upcoming free agents. Okay, free agent quarterbacks in the NFL for 2024. Kirk Cousins at the top of the list, who just came off of a torn Achilles.
Yep.
You know who's more than likely number 2?
Who?
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, that's
as
true.
much as people don't want to hear it, as much as people want to say he sucked ass this year, I think for what the Bucs have asked him to do, he's been fine. We moved on from Tom fucking Brady. It wasn't like we got rid of Jameis Winston last year and now we're playing with Baker. We got rid of the greatest quarterback to ever play the game.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing with the Bucs is, look, they wanted to obviously try Trask, and I know that you're a big Trask guy.
Oh, he's done, dude. He's.
But I'd rather have a Baker Mayfield next year, doing it like we're doing. And obviously, like you said, even if we do it, like I said, a top 15 quarterback, even a top 20 quarterback, sitting on, with a talent, sitting behind Baker next year, and maybe, we have one more year with Baker, but that, that quarterback now at least has 1 year of hanging out. Then if Baker gets hurt, like the Titans.
Bringing Baker back to draft a first-round quarterback, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know how likely that is, because if Baker is back, I don't think it's on another 1-year deal. I don't think he's getting paid a fuck ton more than he is now, but I think there's other QB needy teams who are ready to pay him a lot more than he's getting paid now in Tampa. on a 1-year deal.
Yeah, but I could see them maybe giving them a 2-year, $18 million. But
if you keep the same coaching staff and you give Baker a 2-year deal, then going into the draft that year, I feel like it would be fucked up to Baker if they didn't let him know beforehand, hey, we're still going to take a chance on a first-round quarterback, because they did that to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but you let him know.
No, they didn't.
No. I'm saying you let Baker know.
And how's he gonna feel about it?
Baker knows that he's 2-3 years out. I mean, he's traveled around. He sees what goes on.
Sure,
and I'm like, look, you say, look, we'll give you a 2-year contract with a 3rd-year option. Coach this guy up. I mean, how old's Baker now? 30?
No, he's not that old. He's like 26, 27.
Is he that young?
Yeah, he's not that old. And that's the thing, is that if he works out, 28. So if he works out, the Bucs have a guy for 6-7 years, which, best case scenario, he can still play productive football until he's 35 years old.
Yeah, but let's be honest.
Let's be honest. I don't have that. I think even if Baker is the guy next year for the Bucs, I don't think he's here 5 years from now.
No, I don't. I don't think he's here 3 years from now.
So it again becomes a very tricky conversation when you talk about the future of the team and what's best for the future of the team. Because when I say all these things about Baker, I don't want people listening to misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm not coming on here and saying that Baker's the best fucking option for the Bucs. That's not what we're saying. But when you build a good football team in the NFL, there's 2 things that you need. You need, 1, a good quarterback. You have to. You have to have an above average quarterback to win in the NFL. And 2, you have to have consistency. And, the Bucs have not had a lot of consistency. Like, they had their championship window with Brady, and you still have a lot of those core players, but you're going to be moving on from a lot of guys after this year. I don't think Devin White's back.
No.
Levante David's still kind of a shot in the dark because he's on a 1-year contract. He could retire. The Bucs will probably let him hit free agency again, but I think he will be back if he wants to play another year. I don't think he signs anywhere but Tampa. But, the Bucs have had to not only move on from so much dead cap, but a lot of the players this year that you didn't expect to be taking up so much real estate, like Ryan Jensen and Russell Gage, both of those players being down for the season.
Well,
took up over 50% of the Bucs payroll this year.
Well, in Tom Brady's contract.
Well, he's off the books next year.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying this year.
Yeah, it was $35 million they had to eat this season.
And then you had Jensen and...
Jensen and Russell Gage. All together between those guys, that's about $65 million.
Yep, and that's a lot of money.
It sure is. It sure is. The cap is going up next year, which obviously helps you build a team and hang on to some of these big-time free agents. Mike Evans going to be a top priority. Antoine Winfield Jr. going to have to be a top priority. Luckily, Tristan Wirfs was a first-round pick, so you can pick up his 5th-year option and not have to deal with that until a year from now.
I think once you free up that money, I think you give him a long-term contract this year.
Yeah, and I think that's their blueprint. But I would say their order of operations in the offseason, as far as priorities, I hate to say Mike Evans is a bigger priority than Antoine Winfield Jr., but the entire league is going to make a laughingstock out of you if you let Mike Evans walk after the season he has had, especially because the Bucs are going to let him hit the market. I don't think he's going to get paid quite as much as he wanted at the beginning of this season.
No, I don't either. I don't either. I think the Bucs have a chance to be able to bring him back. I think Devin's gone. I think Shaq's gone
Barrett.
Too.
So Shaq Barrett's kind of an interesting situation. I also think he may be gone, which is unfortunate because we know he's coming off of that Achilles injury, unspeakable tragedy over the offseason. So he hasn't been the same guy this year. I don't think he's ever going to be the same guy that got 19 and a half sacks in 2019.
No.
Which is unfortunate because the Bucs paid him a lot of money to do that, but they're going to have to restructure his contract at the end of this year. He's on the books for next year, but he's also got 4 void years tacked on to that. And that's the thing, too, is that a lot of these players still under contract for the Bucs, long-term extensions, they have void years. So the Bucs still have about $30 million of dead money they're going to have to make place for this coming offseason. So building a team, back to our initial discussion, building a team for the Bucs. They have won 2 Super Bowls with 2 free agent quarterbacks. They have never drafted a quarterback and won a Super Bowl with that guy.
Not even close.
The way that this team is set up, the way that Jason Light knows how to play the cap, you're going to want to keep the number on your quarterback as low as you can possibly have it.
Yep.
And that is why I think even with a postseason appearance, even with a potential number 19 pick, because if they make the postseason and they lose in the wild card round like they did last year, You're gonna get 19. That's the lowest you can get. I still think you can come away with potentially a Michael Penix. I know Bo Nix is in that conversation too, but I think his stock might go up. I like the upside of a rookie QB, and I don't think if a rookie QB is something that's going to be on their radar, I don't think they look into bringing Baker back.
Anybody you bring in, though, is going to know that you're drafting a quarterback, and Baker, I feel like, it knows better than anyone as being a person that was a number one pick coming into the league and then bouncing around as much as he did. I mean, look, he signed with the Rams, and Matt Stafford was there.
Well, it was. He signed with the Rams, and Matt Stafford was already injured and I think done for the year.
No. What?
When he signed with the Rams last year, they were SOL. Like, that's why they signed him.
Well, the Panthers. Well, maybe it was the Panthers because the Panthers.
The Panthers signed him with Darnold.
Yeah,
and Darnold knew that like Baker was going to be coming in, and they were going to have that QB battle.
But that's what I'm saying. I think Baker knows that. Look, the Bucs are going to need to draft a quarterback. Whether it doesn't. I mean, like anybody you bring in. I mean, I think you have the conversation before you resign him. Like, look, we believe in you right now. We'll give you a 2-3 year deal. But we need to have a quality rookie backup. I mean, that's just the way the franchise is. And I think he understands from being in the Browns organization. I think he understands that that's what it's got to be. And Baker seems like a good team player that I think he would totally understand it. I mean, I think Baker's even one of those guys, maybe in 3-4 years that maybe leaves the Bucs, but just goes plays as a backup somewhere.
Right. And I think in the end of his, the twilight years of his career, that's going to be the case. But, as far as, I guess, the situation the Bucs find themselves, I don't want to sit here and talk like they still have, a shot at clinching the NFC South. Like they do, but I don't want to sit here and talk like they're already in the playoffs. Because with what we know about the Bucs, as much as we have said they suck this year, and they have really sucked this year, they still could fumble the bag and end up with a top 10 pick.
Yeah, they
and
could.
Even then, if that's the case, even more so, I believe, it would be coaching malpractice or general manager malpractice if they have a top 10 pick and they still decide to go with Baker Mayfield. Because if the Bucs lose, Baker's going to have a lot to do with it. In my opinion, for the Bucs to make the postseason, Baker's going to have to play his ass off.
Well, they're going to have to bring in a veteran quarterback no matter what.
Yeah, and there's a couple.
That's what they've always done. Jameis sat behind.
Trask is still going to be on the roster, but I think this year was really his one shot at being the guy. I don't want to say this because it sounds really bad, but I almost wish that Baker was injured in that. What game was that? That
Atlanta?
he went Indy. It was Indy.
Oh, it was Indy.
When he went down on the QB sneak, and then you had Trask come in the red zone, and he threw 2 passes, and then that was it.
Yep.
I almost wish Baker was out just a little bit longer, just so we could have seen, what Trask could do in a game that actually mattered. But we didn't. Baker was a tough guy. He came back in. It is what it is. But the Bucs have not given me any reason to believe that Kyle Trask is going to be the guy moving forward.
I don't think he is.
I don't think he is either. So next year, if you move on from Baker and you're looking at a top 10 pick, then I think it goes like this. I think they get their rookie QB. I think you I think you sign a veteran, like you had said, and then Kyle Trask is QB3 again.
No, I think they just release him.
They still got John Walford on the practice squad too. So I mean, he technically could be your veteran backup.
No, I'd probably cut him too.
I don't know. They protected him this year. Do you remember? I think it was San Francisco, or it was one team that needed a QB tried to sign John Walford off of the Bucs practice squad this year, and they elected to protect him.
Was it the Vikings?
No, it was before the Cousins injury that they tried to sign him.
Oh. I'm not sure.
But I don't know what's going on with Walford. Someone asked in chat, do they pay Evans? Yes, they do. I think they have to. I just don't. I know early in the season he was struggling with drops. He didn't really look like himself in a couple of different games, which I think is ultimately going to affect his price tag, which for the Bucs is good news. But like this guy, you can't let this guy go anywhere. He's the best offensive player in the history of the franchise. He's got all the records. 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons with a bunch of ass bucket quarterbacks. A couple of years with Tom Brady mixed in there. Mike Evans is finally getting the love that he deserves this season. And you know why it's happening, Lummy? It's because he finally thought about leaving Tampa. That's why everybody's paying attention to him now.
Oh, of course.
That's why he's
how it's
getting
gonna
all this
happen.
media coverage. But if you're the Bucks, you pay him. I think you pay him. I think he's proven to you that, honestly, without Mike Evans this year, think of all the games that the Bucks offense has played well this season.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
What would they
has.
look
He
like?
stepped up.
What would they look like in those games without Mike Evans? They'd fucking suck. They'd be the worst in the NFL.
No, I wouldn't say the worst in the NFL. They're not
They'd
worse.
be bottom five. Bottom
Yeah,
five.
they'd be bottom
They
five.
had
Not
a
worse than the
historically
NFL.
they had a historically bad run game until about 3 weeks ago because Rachaad White finally turned a corner, and I'm lucky to glad to see that.
Our offensive blocking and the play calling changed too. We have very athletic offensive linemen, and they started letting the offensive linemen, instead of just going in bulk, just hitting straight up, let them use more of their athleticism to get outside.
One of the things the Bucks did late in the game the last 2 weeks, and if you'll notice, Rachaad White up against the Panthers, he had a big 20-plus yard run at the end of the game to help win it, even though he didn't have the most impressive day. I think it was like 20-something carries for 80 whatever yards. But last week, he had 25 carries for over 100 yards. And he was running the ball the best he had all day in the third and fourth quarter of that game.
Yeah,
and
the play calling changed.
One of the things the Bucks were doing, and yeah, I will throw this. You can co-sign with this. Their usage of offensive linemen, but specifically their usage of right tackle Luke Gedeke. I have not seen the Bucks do this a lot, but you know what they did? They pulled Luke Gedeke, and they just sent him after the Mike linebacker.
That's what I'm saying.
When you
use the
can get a
athleticism.
right tackle, and by the way, hats off to Luke Gedeke, who, by the way, sucked at guard his rookie season, but he has been not above and beyond, but he has been a quality starter in the NFL at right tackle this season. When he's running at you full speed and you're a middle linebacker, there's not a lot you can do. And they have gotten a lot more creative with their blocking assignments, which has opened up a lot of lanes for this run game.
Yeah, they use the athleticism of the guard and tackle, pulling them outside, getting them to block downfield better than just going head up on the defense tackle, using the outside lanes instead of just running straight up the middle. So,
yeah, they were just trying to basically make him an interior runner, a north and south guy, and he's not that. He's maybe not as shifty behind the line of scrimmage as they would like him to be, and sometimes he plays like that, and it pisses me off. But if you can just get him some blocks, if you give him time to hit the hole, that's all he needs. And we've seen a lot more holes open up these last couple of weeks for the Bucs. So an interesting spot for them, but I wanted to kind of dive deep into where they are, because not only are they in the hunt for the playoffs, but they are staring down the barrel of two massively different off seasons. If you miss the postseason, you fire Todd Bowles, everybody on this coaching staff is gone, which means you have officially ripped the Band-Aid off from the Brady era. I know not a lot of people connect Todd Bowles to the Brady era because as a head coach, he hasn't done shit, but he's the last tether they have to what that team was. And a lot of the people on this coaching staff have been around for a while. And if this staff can't get it
actually,
done, then
you're not going back far enough. It would take the tether off the Jameis Winston era.
yeah, shit, that's true.
He was the coach under Jameis Winston.
He was.
Which I don't know. I know you said you wanted to get out of here a little early. I don't know if we're gonna have time to go through.
Real quick, rapid fire, lightning round.
Yeah. All right. I wasn't trying to be rude. I was just trying to. All right. So last week, you got them.
Yes, I do. First game, New England at Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh wins. Obviously. Oh, I'm sorry. New England wins.
New England wins, obviously.
New England won 21-18.
Should have been your upset of the week.
I should have been. I should have made that one. But because Little Purple likes to talk a bunch of shit, I decided to do a different game. Tampa Bay at the Atlanta Falcons. Tampa Bay wins.
Woo!
I believe both of us picked both of them.
Yes, we did. How about this next fucking game?
Lions at Bears. We both picked Detroit. I know that because that was pretty much, I thought, a gimme, even though Detroit was on the road. Bears win 28-13.
Yeah, what a crock of shit.
What a fucking dog shit game. This next one also is a dog shit game. Cincinnati, Jake Browning looks like fucking Joe Montana back there. The last 2 weeks, Bengals are over 500 now, 7-6. They kill the Colts 34-14. I believe I took the Colts.
You did.
Browns at Jaguars, another game, but I believe because we thought Trevor Lawrence was going to be out that we both picked the Browns.
We did, and didn't they win the game?
Browns won 31-27 because Joe Flacco, 3 TDs.
Yeah, Joe Flacco playing. Look at that. So inspirational, dude. The greatest quarterback in the history of the NFC North. All he does is win in that stadium.
Sure does.
So another thing, too. So Trevor Lawrence did play, but, man, he looked like shit.
Yeah, he looked like shit. We didn't think he was going to play, but he did. I believe he got picked 3 times, which, yes, he did get picked 3 times. Saints demolished the Panthers 28-6. I believe we both picked the Saints.
We did.
Jets, this is another big-time upset. Texans at the Jets. Jets manhandled them 30-6. Zach Wilson looked good, 301, 2 TDs. I believe we both picked the Texans.
Yeah, we did.
Rams at the Ravens. This is my upset pick. Fucking Ravens go down in OT. I was really hoping to just brag today that I fucking told you guys that the Rams were going to beat the Ravens.
It's a shame the fashion that they lost, too. The punt return touchdown in OT, that's awful.
But as Little Purple will say that the Ravens don't suck. They just had to take a Rams team to overtime to beat them. Ravens won 37-31. Vikings 3, Raiders nothing. What a really boring fucking game. I did watch a little bit of it. It was on one of my TVs. What a shit show. I believe we both picked the Raiders.
We did. I mean, holy shit. I knew that Josh Dobbs was going to fade out eventually, so I was hoping on that last week because they started, what's his name, Aiden O'Connell?
Yep.
I think is the guy's name. Or that's the dude in Vegas, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy that they started, number 12 for the Vikings. But I really thought the Raiders were in a better spot than they were. I know they're not the best team this year playing under an interim head coach, but holy shit, 0 points. This was a tie for the second lowest scoring game in NFL history. Or I guess a tie for first.
Yes, it was. Then we have the Seahawks at the 49ers. The 49ers, and by the way, Little Purple Jersey, I fucking said that the Rams were the hottest team last week. God, you're so fucking annoying. 49ers 28-16 beat the Seahawks. Purdy still putting up those numbers, 368 yards. Obviously, McCaffrey, 145 yards. I mean, the 49ers are looking really good. They were the hottest teams in the league right now. Demolished the Seahawks 28-16. I believe I picked Seattle, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Well, here's a pick that I know I picked. The Bills beat the Chiefs 2017. That was I should have made that one an upset pick too.
What'd you think of Kermit the Frog's meltdown after the game?
Whatever. Fuck it.
I thought it was fucking hilarious.
I did too. Maybe he should wait till the fucking. Maybe you should wait till, looking at everything before you start fucking crying on that. I mean, you could look literally up at the Jumbotron and see that he was all fucking sides. Now he's apologizing. Looks like a little bitch.
Yeah, I mean,
see where his brother gets it
having
from.
to put out an apology statement is bad enough, but when you've got everybody piling on to how childish you acted, it's a bad look.
Yep.
And it's a bad look for anybody, but especially when you are, have this reputation as the league's babyface anyways.
Yep.
There was a thread I saw on Twitter of all the times that the referees, bailed Kansas City out on the final drive of the game.
Yeah. I saw
to
that
win
too.
the fucking game.
Yep. Exactly. So, wow, good for the Bills. Good for the Bills.
Good win for Buffalo.
Exactly.
I listen, I'm one of those people. I'm a Buffalo hater. I've said they suck this year, and I still believe they suck this year, even though they are 7-6. The AFC getting a little more competitive down the stretch. I don't think this is the year for them, but regardless, a good win for them to get back on track.
And yes, Dan's secret habit, I am stupid at picks. Yeah, that's right, because the Ravens won. Good job. Broncos 24-7. Chargers suck, and the Broncos won. Good job, Russell Wilson, with your whopping 224, 2 TDs. Eagles at Cowboys.
Hold on, wait. Surely you picked the Broncos last week.
No, I sure didn't, because I wanted them to start winning again. So I picked the Chargers.
Mommy.
I was hoping Justin Herbert would have showed up, but he didn't.
I thought we were going to ride.
Yeah, well, we'll ride next week probably, or this week, whatever you want to call it. I bring good luck to teams. That's the Bills. Cowboys at the Eagles. The Cowboys dismantled the Eagles. I believe you took Philly.
I did, and you took Dallas, so good
Okay.
on you.
Yeah,
Your upset picks, other than the official upset pick, all of your other upset picks are looking good.
Yeah, well, the next one, Titans 28.
What the fuck?
Dolphins. Well, that's what
What
happens.
the fuck?
That's what happens when you have to put the whole team on to.
What the fuck? I
to,
went to bed Monday night, feeling great. We had 2 primetime games. Both started 8:15. I went to bed about 8:45.
That's okay. Don't worry. Tua scored a bunch of. He passed for a lot of touchdowns that game.
You and I were a combined 0-4 on Monday Night Football.
Yes, we were.
We picked Miami to beat Tennessee, and obviously we saw what Tua's made of when you take away Raheem Mostert and Tyreek Hill.
Don't talk about Tua badly, please. I don't want to get people upset in chat.
And then Green Bay at the Giants, we both picked the Packers, and I went to bed really thinking that they had that game in the bag.
They sure didn't.
What the fuck? I know nothing is guaranteed in the NFL, but the first person I could think of when I woke up was obviously Bubba.
Oh yeah,
Because we were talking last week about how they're in the playoff picture now and they gotta make the postseason.
And the other person I thought about was Tua and how much he fucking blows balls, like I've said, and everyone hates on me. But you don't put. I said you can put any fucking quarterback with Tyreek Hill and Waddle and all those weapons around you, and you fucking look like a superstar. Well, guess what? It came out when Tyreek went down. Waddle was getting fucking his ass kicked too, which didn't help. And Tua had 0 touchdowns. So there you go. Well, I'm sure that according to everyone, I had a losing week of picking. And you probably had a big time win.
You had 6, I had 7.
There you go. See? That was a really shitty week for us.
7 and what? 7 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7 and 8?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound. There were 15 games?
That was one of the first ones that there's a couple of bye weeks.
Oh, you're right. You were 6 and 9. I was 7 and 8.
Yep.
Shitty week last week.
Yeah, that's our first under 500, I think, since like week 4.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Well, let's shoot into our thing, our picks for this week.
Uh-oh.
We got wow, a real shit Friday game. So a Friday game.
What?
I
For
don't know.
this week?
Yeah, Friday game.
What's going on Thursday? Hanukkah?
Sure. December 14th. I don't know. I don't know why there's no Thursday night game, but there's a Friday night game. They're just trying to take away the college bowl. I don't fucking know. It doesn't make any sense, but it's a real shit game. Chargers at the Raiders. 1:15 in the morning. What the fuck is going on with this?
What are you looking at?
December 15th, 2023. I mean, this is Bubba's computer.
This is ESPN.com.
Yeah, look, 1
LA
o'clock.
at Las Vegas, 1:15
In
a.m.
Vegas.
on Prime Video.
Whatever. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, that's got to be a typo or
Yeah.
something. Let's just assume Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
Or they got flexed to 1 in the morning because nobody wants to watch the
The
bitch-ass
shit game.
Chargers. Yeah.
Against the Raiders, well, I'm going to go with, I don't even, the Chargers. I'm going to keep riding the fucking Chargers until they win a game.
Well, Justin Herbert out for the year, so I don't know how that pick is going to transpire for you. But
I fucking forgot about that one. So it looks like I'll be switching my pick to the Raiders.
all right, we will both take Las Vegas
Thanks for updating me on that one. I totally forgot because I'm pretty upset about Herbert. Fuck. Minnesota at Cincinnati.
there. I think Browning is going to keep balling,
Yeah.
so I will take the Bengals.
Minnesota bench Dobbs. I'm going Bengals too. Pittsburgh at Indianapolis. I'm riding Gardner.
Yeah,
They bounce back. They bounce back against the Steelers.
that overtime win a couple of weeks ago, I think against Tennessee, that was huge momentum for them.
Yeah, I think they bounce back. I think they get a big win. I think the Steelers right now, they fall to 500, 7-7. Opening line looks like it's 2.5. Yeah, I'll take the Colts at home.
Yeah, I've picked Pittsburgh. I've picked Pittsburgh twice in the last 2 weeks, and it has done nothing but burn me. So I will also take Indy in this game.
Chicago at Cleveland. Oh well, I'm riding the hot hand in Cleveland. They find a way to win.
Did you
Joe
skip Denver Detroit?
Oh yeah. Oh, there's 3 Saturday night. Damn, 3 Saturday games. That's a weird ass schedule this week.
Yeah, and they didn't really say much about it, did they?
Detroit loses at home to the
Ooh.
red hot fucking Denver Broncos. Go, let's ride Denver ride.
Is that your upset of the week?
Fuck no, I'm picking Detroit. They bounce back. Fuck Denver.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I
No.
already wrote down Denver, you fuck.
Well, no, because group of don't pick Denver Broncos again.
Well, yeah, because they have to win this week.
I know. Well, guess what? Detroit makes them cry.
Mm.
Fucking sends them back to Denver.
Mm.
Russell Wilson can do his little fucking plyometrics in the plane. So go Detroit.
Stay pliable.
Yeah, stay pliable. Who do you got?
I will take Detroit.
Yeah,
They got to get back on track. An embarrassing loss, and there's not much you can do but get better.
Exactly.
And Denver is a perfect team to go out there and get better against.
Perfect. Yeah, maybe they'll put 70 up like the Dolphins did. Chicago at Cleveland. Cleveland. I'm running that. I'm running Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I'm on Flacco mania till the wheels fall off. He came through last week, even though we were betting on him to have a great game. He did throw that one interception, which is fine.
Not too worried about it.
Not too worried about it. I mean, it gave us a green light. But they are playing in Cleveland.
Yep.
And he does win there. So
sure
yeah, I'd like to think Flacco throws all over the Bears.
There we go. Tampa at Green Bay. Well, I mean, like I've already said all the time before, I won't pick against the Bucs. So Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I can't pick against the Bucs this week, especially this week of all weeks. That would I think that would really bruise my fandom.
What's Houston at Tennessee? I think Houston bounces back. Tennessee comes off a big win against Miami and loses in Tennessee, and Houston gets their shit together.
I agree. I think Houston needs a get-right game. And I feel like these two teams just played.
They did.
A couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Did Tennessee win that game?
No, I think Houston won that game.
Division game. So it's going to be tough.
You going Houston? Titans. No, they haven't played them. Fuck.
Oh, they still have to play them twice this year. It felt like they had already played.
Well, I looked at their schedule before. They do play fucking back-to-back pretty much.
Yeah. I think it was that Texans Colts game, and then it was the Titans played the Colts, and those are the two games that I'm mixing up. A tough game for me to pick, but I will go Houston. I think they get right.
There you go. Fuck, I clicked on my little screen here.
New York at Miami.
Obviously, Miami.
Obviously Miami, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Miami. I mean, Tyreek will probably be back, so I mean that makes Tua a Hall of Fame quarterback that he is. So I'm gonna go Miami.
I will cautiously pick Miami.
Oh, wow.
Because if Tyreek is not back, then I think the Jets defense will make Tua look like a fucking R.
Kansas City at New England. I'm going to go Kansas City. I think Crybaby gets a win over Bill Belichick, who's crying himself.
Yeah, if you're the Pats, at this point in the season, you don't have a whole lot left to play for. You know that your coach is going to be skipping town, so really, what do they even want to show up to work for? So I will take Kansas City.
Upset pick of the week right here, New York at New Orleans. New York wins.
Wow.
Tommy DeVito.
You think Tommy DeVito is going to continue to play well?
Sure
play
is.
that well?
Yes. He beats New Orleans in New Orleans. He goes down there and gets hammered on fucking
I would
Mardi
love,
Gras Day.
as a Bucs fan, I would love nothing more than for that to happen. But New Orleans, even when they're bad, they are still a weaselly team. And I hate them with every ounce of fiber in my being. But I do think they win this week.
Atlanta at Carolina, fucking shit bowl. I'm going Atlanta. There's no way. Carolina just fucking blows. That's an easy pick. Atlanta over, even at Carolina. I kind of want to see Carolina win, but
I would also kind of like to see Carolina win, just because one, it helps the Bucs in the NFC South, but it also, like, Desmond Ridder fucking sucks, and I don't know why the Falcons decided to put him back in. But they deserve to lose every single fucking game
that he's in.
Yeah, because I thought my boy Heineke got cheated. I really do. And I understand the perspective of wanting to see what you have in this guy, but we should have determined by the beginning of this season, when you had benched him, that you don't have shit in this guy.
Exactly.
So I hate Desmond Ridder. I think he's a terrible football player. I am a professional hater. I wake up extra early, so I have more time in the day to hate Desmond Ridder. And I hope they lose this week. But with that being said, Carolina's so bad that, you know what? I'm going to change my pick. I'm going to pick Carolina.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there we go. First time all year I think I've picked this one-win football team. I'll probably regret it next week, but who gives a shit? Fuck Desmond.
That's right. Washington at the Rams. I'm going Rams.
Okay. I can see, especially they're playing in L.A.,
Yeah, I think the Rams bounce back after that win, that loss against the Ravens, and I think the Commanders come out slow after their bye week.
Cool. I'm also picking the Rams.
49ers at Arizona. It's hard to pick against 49ers. I'm going Arizona. It should be my upset pick, actually.
Get the
but
fuck out of here. Are you serious?
let's go Arizona. They slow down the 49ers.
They're the one team that gets it done?
Yeah, that's the one team that gets it done.
That's your upset of the week?
That's my second upset of the week. Merry
All right.
fucking Christmas.
Dallas at Buffalo. 425. Surprised this isn't prime time. You
No
know, the way
shit.
the NFL loves to shove the Cowboys down our throat.
I'm going to go Buffalo. Dallas loses in Buffalo. What's the temperature up there? I'm just picking all these upset fucking games here.
Yeah, I'm picking Dallas. I would like them to lose, but I do not think they do.
36. Nice.
36 degrees playing in Buffalo. It's going to be a tough game, but I just don't think I don't think Buffalo on defense is going to be able to slow them down. That's going to be the issue.
Baltimore at Jacksonville. At Jacksonville. I mean, Baltimore's so good now. They're probably one of the best teams I've ever watched in my entire life.
Really?
It's really hard to pick against Baltimore.
Really?
I just don't know what to do right now.
Are you going to pick Jacksonville?
I'm picking Jacksonville.
Playing at home.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence comes like he's superstar. You know, Lamar fucking just throws 2 interceptions and Jacksonville wins.
Forgot Monday night.
I'm not done.
Okay.
I just was clicking to see what the point spread was. Who you got in this game, Baltimore?
For the sake of making our picks different, yeah, I will take Baltimore. It's a tough road game, tough place to play, and potentially Trevor Lawrence back in the mix, healthier than he was last week. I don't know how much better that's going to help them fare. So I do think Baltimore is the better team on Sunday night.
Philly at Seattle. I think Philly travels out west. They bounce back. They get a win.
Yeah, they need a win. They're the type of team that I can't imagine them dropping 2 in a row. So I think they get their shit together and they win on Monday Night Football.
Exactly. And there's our picks.
There they are.
Everyone, fuck off. I didn't like my picks.
What a great way to end the show.
Yeah.